Hey everyone, welcome to Doug Will Fix It. Today we have a BMW Diamond key, and this actually came with cars. I can't remember the exact years, maybe from 97, 98, all the way through to 2004 probably. So this is from an E46, which is a 330 that you've seen in my previous videos that I've got. It was also a key for the E39, which is the 5 Series of the same generation. Now, I had two of those and the key was exactly the same. The problem with this key is it's not working anymore. It doesn't arm the car or unarm the car. It doesn't lock or unlock the car anymore. And that's basically because the battery in this key is not recharging. So usually when the key's in the ignition, there's a form of induction going on, and the battery is slowly being charged while the key's in the ignition. The problem is this is not happening anymore with this key. So it's intermittent and unreliable, and it's a pain, trust me, because you can unlock the car, you can unlock the door by putting the key in the door, but the alarm goes off. Then you have to quickly stick the key in the ignition, and then that disables the alarm. But it's a pain. Problem is this is a sealed unit. There's no easy way to change the battery on this. So the only thing you can actually do is you see that line going along the edge all the way around. What we're going to do is we're going to cut that open and get access to the board, and then we will be changing the battery. The battery's soldered to the board usually on these keys. So yeah, it's not an easy task. It's not a straightforward swap the battery task. We have to actually cut this open, and then I'll explain what the alternatives are. Once you've got it open and the battery's changed, how do we actually put this back together, because we've actually cut it open. So there's a couple of options around that which I'll explain to you as well. So the first thing we need to do is we need to cut along this line, and we want to make sure that we don't cut too deep, because we don't want to damage the board that's on the inside. So we just want to kind of cut around the edges gently, and just get the key to come apart. And the way I'm going to do it, there's a number of ways you can do that. You can use, I've seen people use a standing knife, but what I've actually got is this. It's a kitchen knife, but it's got a little really small teeth on it, and I think it will do the job. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to start slowly, wearing that, just where that little groove is. You can see it, just cutting through it slowly. You can see like that, and just keep going like that. So I just had to swap to my right hand, as I'm right-handed, just to make this a bit more safe. So you need to be real careful when you do this. So for the key bit, for this little bit with a hole in it, we need to go straight through up until that point there, and then we're just going to chip away at the edges slowly, not too deep. Remember, we don't want to damage the board on the inside once that's done. So I'm going to start doing that now, and then you guys can see. Just keep chipping away at it. Obviously you need to be real careful. If you can put this into a vise to hold it, that's even better. And you can see it's starting to come. You can see it's starting to just cut through. And like I said, I mean, there's a couple of ways to put this back together. One is to super glue it back, but you can actually buy alternative keys and moldings to put the actual board back into another new set, a new another key basically. But you just put the board into those, and those can actually clip together, and I'll show you one of those as well in a minute. So now I'm just going along the sides, and you can see actually it's cutting pretty clean. So we're just going to keep going. Okay, look, I've actually cut around it reasonably clean enough. Probably smooth it out if I was going to stick it. I actually made one mistake. So maybe use a Stanley knife. I use this, which is basically a kitchen knife with little teeth. It did the job. It went through it really quick. But when I wasn't concentrating, I was looking, when I was trying to film this, I bodged up the lines. But I'm not going to use this casing again anyway, like I said. But eventually I made it through, and it didn't actually take that long. But the key thing you got to make it, well, the most important thing is you don't cut yourself with a knife. It's very difficult to hold this and cut it at the same time. So I have managed to separate it. It's still a bit stuck together, and now you see, so let's just pull it there. So now you can see the key split down the middle, and you see you have to basically cut through all of this all the way through, and the last bit, I mean, I'll go all the way around, and the last bit that was a difficult one was actually this little bit right here. Once you get through the big chunk of the key here, you need to cut this little bit here, and that was a bit awkward, but eventually it went through, and now I can actually access the board, and you can actually see that. Let's have a closer look at this. So the battery is actually attached to these, you see these little metal plates. So the top one's not attached to the battery at all, but the bottom one is actually stuck to the battery. It's probably supposed to be like that. So the best thing to do here probably is to just unsolder this and remove the battery board. A couple of things to note: you need to be real careful with the components on this, not to damage them, because that will affect the functioning of the key. So you can see this little coil here, and you can see there's like 3-4 buttons there as well. So 3 buttons, that one, the middle one, and the right one. So you need to be super careful we don't damage those. Okay, so we're going to try and unsolder this battery. Alright guys, so I've got this board set up, and what I'm going to do is just melt this out, and I'm going to actually get my little solder cleaner. I don't know, I can't remember what this thing's called, but look, it will grab all the excess solder off. My iron's up to the right speed. There you go, got that one. And this, the second one for the battery, is this one here. So we're just gonna do the same thing, warm this up. Oh, that looks okay. All right, so battery's out. Let's have a look at the battery. Safe, thank you. So you can see, where's the camera? The battery's out. It is a 3-volt UL220, so this is rechargeable, so it charges via the key. But here's the battery. So we need to basically get this battery soldered in as a replacement for the one we've taken out. So that's what we're going to do next. So what I've done is I've just positioned the battery into place. I've not soldered it in yet, but I've just positioned it into the right position. I could see it sitting slightly higher than the original one, but I've checked it fits in the case, so it fits fine, so it should be okay. So what I'm going to do next is just solder this back in, and then that should be it for this actual battery swap, and we should be good to go. That should be that. So let's check this out now. Okay, so we've just soldered that new battery on, as you can see, and then the question then is what do you do with the case? Because as you know, we cut it. So you've got two options, right? One is you put this back in there and you super glue it back together. The other option, and you can see that this is the original key, so to super glue it back together, it's not elegant, but it will do the job. The other option nowadays is you can buy a replacement key, basically. So, and the thing with this is, firstly you have to get this cut, and that's not that hard to do nowadays. Back in the days when I had one cut from the dealership, this exact key like this for my E39, they charged me 140 quid to get that key ordered in and cut for my car. Now nowadays, if you take a picture of your key like this and send it in to people, they'll cut the key for you because they can actually determine the key code based on the pattern, right? So I've got this key. Look, so the key, the battery that came with this key and a couple of extra components cost like 10 quid. It's not a lot, but it will get the key functioning again, and then just a matter of getting it cut from the right people. And there's loads of people doing it now, but back in the days it was tough. You'd have to go to the dealership to get it done. So the good thing about this is it's not sealed, so you can actually just unclip it. Let me see if I can unclip this. And you see that? And it will clip back into position. So then what we're going to do now is we're going to reposition this battery back in the housing. The other way around, sorry. So if you have a look, now you need to get this in the right, there's a couple of grooves that you need to follow. You see the groove up there? Can you see that? There's 2 grooves and there's a groove there, so you need to just get that right. So the buttons will line up with the buttons in this. So that actually looks like it's in place already. Good. See, there's a little bit more leeway in this one, which is good. So because this battery doesn't sit 100% like the original. And then all I need to do is clip this back together and then get the key cut. Like I said, you could super glue it back if you want, but there's loads of people that can get this key cut now. Even guys on eBay, they'll ask for a picture of the key, the original key, and that will identify the pattern, and they'll cut that and send it out, mail you the keys back. They can't open the car even if they have the pattern, because you need the immobilizer and all the bits that come with the electronics to go with it. So all I'm going to do is now clip this back into place, and you can see it's just clipped very nicely back into position. And if I click, so the buttons seem to be working, but the question is will it work with the car? So I'm going to go check that out now. Okay, so now when we do the test with the key and then lock,
make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.